Jason, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing well, man. Everything's a little chaotic at the moment. I'm running multiple things, and it's like when you start something new, you have to like get a new battle rhythm, get things situated, so then it gets all flow. But you like throw something in, and for like 2.5 weeks, it gets a little squirrely. To everything gets planed out, and everything's like plugged in where it should be. So it's like
Right.
new kid, new customers. It's like, oh shit, fuck. All right, few
Oh,
nights. I'm not going to sleep and school, but knock that out of the park. Done with this semester for the time being till a couple more weeks. So one thing off
gotcha.
the plate.
Did you just say new kid?
Yeah. First one.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. It's amazing, but it definitely makes you feel like fuck. Like I am doing way too much. Like I have to spend time. Like I cannot be here 24/7. I have to get out of this, unplug, and like spend
Yeah.
some time with this little
Oh,
human.
yeah, that's it. Or they'll just you'll literally watch their life go by and yours as well.
Yeah, dude, my
And,
wife's a
and
good reminder. She's like, "You're not gonna get these moments back." Because initially, like, you want to wake up and go right out the gate every morning, but then it's like, "Oh shit!" Like maybe I can go work out a little later. Maybe I can do something instead of my full morning workout and just cherish this moment of this little human being up
yep.
like at 4 a.m. with me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take this in. So
And
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with switching it up.
yeah,
Getting rid of it is the bad thing, but
yeah,
but switching it up, I mean,
yeah,
that's just
man.
life. As long as you're still getting it in there and you're switching it up, that means it's a priority.
Absolutely, man. But
Yeah.
today, man, I want to dive into your journey, dude. Like you're involved in something that I think every person at some point, especially like our veterans, can romanticize the ability of like just having uh, the freedom to jump out and go fishing on a friggin' boat and like travel and just friggin' sport fishing. Like for the last few years, my entire life revolved around Northwest Florida. So I was stationed, and dude,
Ah, okay.
we have amazing fishing, and
Oh yeah.
you do anything to like look out into that water, and you see the charter boats leaving every morning, and you're like,
So
man,
were
what did they
you
get
over in the
into?
Jacksonville area?
No, Destin, Florida. I was formerly at 7th Group, so we're like stationed right there in the that Northwest Florida area.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm up in Destin right now, so
Oh,
I'm
no
right.
way.
Yeah, I'm right down the street from Eglin Air Force Base. When
Yeah,
I post those stories in the morning of me running with the dog in the weight vest,
yeah.
we actually stop at some property at Eglin Air Force Base. I always take a selfie with the danger sign.
Nice,
It says
dude.
"Do not cross," so boom.
Dude, I'll be down there in a couple. Actually, next week I'm doing a run down there. Shout out to the folks who put together the Savage Loop. Me and a buddy of mine who's now a business partner. We're gonna take our newest team member and we're gonna run and try to not to kill ourselves running running that adventure. I think you call it an
Nice.
adventure race. Yeah,
What is it? What is it? A marathon or what are
yeah,
you doing?
it's a 42 miles. It does a loop around like the military areas right down there, Destin Bridge.
Okay.
So we're gonna suck for a day and hang out, and then hopefully have dinner at McGuire's because it'll be well deserved.
When is that one?
It starts March 15th at 5:30 in the morning or 6. And the deadline to sign up is coming up this week. The deadline to get your shirt is March 9th, I believe. But you
Send
can
me
sign up. Yeah, I'll send you the link, man.
send me the link. I'll do it. I'm here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I just rented this Airbnb for the entire month. I'm kind of, and we'll get into it in this podcast, but I'm kind of month to month right now,
Hell
when
yeah.
it's going to get done and get shipped. So I have this one till the 30th. I'll run it with you guys.
Hell yeah, man.
Let's
Badass.
go.
Yeah. It'll be fun because our newest team member, she's not military at all. So we're like, dude, we'll do 5-10 miles. We'll walk, we'll jog, we'll keep going, and then the
It's
reward
all
at the
about
end.
finishing,
Yes, absolutely, man.
especially for somebody never done it. That's
Yeah.
the whole mental side. Just finish.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
I did not on my first one. I gave up at mile 72 on my first 100, and I
No shit.
regret it. I still regret it to this day. And I was in first place.
No way.
Yeah, I was. It was funny. So I got into the second or third. No, it was the second rest stop. And I got in, and there was a bunch of people there. So I never thought I was in first place. And a guy walks up to me and he goes, "You're ahead of everybody. These are the 40-mile runners."
Yeah.
I wasn't, I was with the guys finishing the 40 mile, not the 100. So I was running their pace, and I saw all them running, but I didn't realize in the morning they left the same time as us. I figured they left later,
Yeah.
so everybody kind of, they all left the same time. So I just kept up with their pace, and yeah, I was like, so. But what happened was they had one of the loops where you do twice,
Yeah.
and I did it 3 times and then went straight, and that just, you know what I mean, effed my mind up. It ruined me. And then after that, I kept running, and then it was rainy out, and I made the mistake of getting in the truck and sitting. Done.
Dude,
Done.
never get into the Fallout truck.
And before I was doing it, I was either standing or I'd grab a beach chair that's sitting there.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable, sitting back in it, let me eat my food and go. And then I sat in the truck, and they had the heated seats, and it was done.
Dude.
Raining out, 30 degrees.
Yeah.
It was in Ocala National Forest.
Oh, no shit.
It was called it was beautiful. I think I want to do it again. It was called the Forgotten Florida 100.
Dude, that sounds badass.
And it was my first one ever, and I was in first place. So that was that, that's that quarterback moment,
Yeah.
Back when I was your age, I was going to, that kind of thing. But then I turned around and finished Moab 240. So
damn,
it's definitely mental. It's mental. So I've only done 2 in my life. That 100, I failed. And then I do Moab and finish, and I didn't even have socks.
No shit.
Yeah, I forgot my socks.
Dude, how did you get into that? Let's dive into that.
Well, I got into that from basically kind of trickle effect from hiking. I loved hiking out west, so I would take I'd work all year, and I would take. This is when I ran my family's jewelry store just a few years ago. We actually just closed it down in November. I would go out west in August, and I just wanted to hike and fly fish, kind of like bow hunting or hunting. I'd pick a spot, and I'd pick a river off trail, and we'd try to get to it, me and my buddies, and then kind of spend 4 or 5 days there fishing, and then hike it back in, and then finish the whole trail.
Yeah.
So we'd try to find roundabout trails, and then we'd go off it, fish, get back on trail, and then finish the loop.
Hell yeah!
And we had one in Idaho, 2019. It was 19. So, and it was in August. So we didn't really know about the pandemic yet.
Yeah.
And that's when California had those really bad fires. And so I was up in the Sawtooth Mountains with a buddy of mine named Roman. And he got a call on my InReach, those basically little sat things.
Little sat, yeah.
Yeah. He got a text on there, and it just said, hurry home. And it didn't say who, didn't say why. So we both looked at each other like, I was like, Roman, this could be for you, because I'm single. I think I had a sat phone too. I think if it was like my mother or family, I would have got a call. So I'm like, this has got to be you, dude.
Yeah.
And then he recognized, how on the InReach it just pops up phone numbers. You can't really save. And so the fire got backed up to him and his girlfriend's horse farm. And she was there with like, I think 6 or 8 horses. She had lambs, trying to get them all out of there. And he's on a hike. So it's like the hike's over,
Yeah.
So I was like, what do we do? And it was like 2 a.m. We were just hanging out. And I was like, I'm absolutely okay with, getting you out of here. Let's pack up now. Let's leave the tents out, pack up the tents, just sleep in sleeping bags, and haul ass in the morning. And that's what we did. So I got him to an airport in Idaho, and he got back to Cali, and everything was all good there. But and they didn't need me to help. They had other people show up as he was heading there. So, but it's still good to have, the boyfriend around, of course. And, but he got back there, and everybody was safe. And so then I had like 5 days. So I was like, I'm from Florida in a truck, and I got a dog with me. I'm like, what do I do for 5 days?
Yeah.
So I knew from Instagram, I knew the people that owned the bow rack, Wayne and Lisa Endicott, and that's over in Oregon. And it was only like another 4.5, I think, not even 4.5 hours from where I was. And I had my bow with me. When I was traveling, I'd stay at a hotel, and I'd look up, if there was a bow shop around. I love bow hunting. Just started doing it, but I already had my bow with me. So I headed over there, and I met them. And then they introduced me to Cameron Haynes, bow hunter, runs ultras, been on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's really made a name for himself.
Yeah. Great author, great book.
Yeah, his book's phenomenal. He's got a book coming out, I think, the end of this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think he's got a third book coming out at the end of this week. I'm almost positive it is. It's either the beginning of next week or the end of this week. So I met him, and we shot a few times. Did not his lift, run, shoot or anything. That didn't exist yet. But we ran his mountain, and we shot at Endicott Farms and stuff like that. And he kept talking about these ultras, and I just kept listening, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's like I can do that." I'm one of those people. If you keep talking about it,
yeah.
If I have an interest in it, I'm just gonna keep poking,
Yeah.
And then he had done Bigfoot, which is in Washington. That was a 200. And then he's done Moab, and he talked about Moab a lot. And I was like, I hung out with him. I only spent a couple days there that time because it really wasn't planned. I stayed in the hotel, and so headed home, and I bought another bow from them. Learned a lot more about bow hunting. I just started and bought one back home. Learned the Onyx map and where I could get licenses and how to apply. I really got my fill with that. So then, that started to turn the wheels on the ultra marathon. And like I go into things pretty stupid. Like you don't have to run Moab to be a bow hunter, but because of who I met, he ran Moab and he's a bow hunter. I'm like, oh, that's what you have to do? Okay. like kind of joining the military. Oh, you have to be in the special teams to be in the military? Well, yeah, because you're talking to a guy in the special teams, This is the only way to go. He's not going to tell you to be a medic, you know what I mean? Not in the teams. If he's in the team, you know what I mean? He's like, show up to buds and do it, So I was like, all right.
Did you have any background in endurance running or anything?
No, nothing. Literally nothing.
Oh,
I was 40 pounds overweight, and my best friend had just passed away in 2018. And I ran a marathon in 2019 where he was from. I ran the Philadelphia Marathon in 2019, completely out of shape, barely finished. I ran a 4:54, but I did it in his name. So I went up to, that was in November of 2019, and I went up, saw his parents, stayed in a hotel right there at the marathon. There's 30,000 runners. It was insane. All I wanted to do was run up the stairs and stand next to the Rocky Trophy or the statue.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do, and take a picture. I had a shirt on. His nickname was Wooly. His name was Paul McComb, but his nickname was Wooly after his father. So I had a jersey name called Wooly, and I wanted to turn around, backwards with the Wooly going upstairs, and they had moved it and they put a freaking Christmas tree. It was literally over in the bushes. Like they literally put it on a cart and moved it. I finished the marathon in like defeat. I was like, I just ran 26 miles for that, but in the end, it's for the parents, and it was for Paul and all that. But I wanted the picture. I wanted the picture, I wanted the picture, but I didn't get the picture. It was over in the bushes, and it had ropes around it. You couldn't go near it.
Dude.
So, but I did finish the marathon, and after that, kind of went back into the routine of, not working out every day and stuff. I was one of those guys, even when I lived in Costa Rica from 2005 to 2017, I lived down there for about 11 years. I would get real into it. Like I would get up at 4 a.m., run the beach down there, eat real good. And then like a client would come down and want to drink for 3 days. And then, they would go home and get back on their routine. Well, Jason wants to keep on the fun, let's keep the carousel going. So I kind of did it, but I think I related to Cam because he has this whole story about him walking with a rock. And I was actually doing that on the beach. So I was doing the big wave surfer workouts where they would hold the rock underwater and walk. I'm sure a lot of SEALs do that, a lot of military, to work on breath work. And, I've seen the videos that you have to go down and grab the weight and go up and drop it and go up. I was doing that stuff. So I was pushing myself, but then I was like, oh, we can all go out on ladies' night. Let's go. And then 2 weeks of no working out. So when you're doing that, consistency is key, but it showed me it was there, because nobody did that side of it. They partied, but then on that hangover day, I'm going to go run that beach and kill myself because I mentally, I like the other side better, I was going out. I was literally going out and partying down there to say I went out and party. Oh yeah, I was with them last night. Other than that, didn't book any charters. Didn't help me get up in the morning. I had well, he was 19 then. He's 31 now. 19-year-old first mate that looked up to me, poor as dirt. I'm showing him that you can work out once in a while and then party. Not helping myself, not helping other people, not helping clients, show up hungover on day 3. They can see it. They're on vacation. This is my job. Imagine if you were a banker or you're in the teams or whatever in the military and you're hungover. No. When you guys go out and drink, you go out and do your own thing. It's because you had a scheduled time for that, not when you're getting on the C-130,
You'd be surprised, man. And that's so true. Like if you're a professional, you have to remember to be a professional through and through. And that you have to sacrifice the amateur mentality of I can half-ass this and play along. And maybe you can, but you'll eventually get flushed out. You'll eventually get found out, and nobody wants that. There's something the power of understanding that like you have to be held accountable, not just like the people around you, but to yourself.
Yeah. Especially if you're dragging others down.
Yeah.
And I relate that to the military. If everybody got up at 4 and ate their breakfast and, got after it and you're like, 8 a.m., like, what are we doing today? That's downhill right there.
Yeah.
Even in my business, the quality of work, like the booking people I went to, like the hotels and the booking agents, I come in at 10 o'clock. Oh, you were supposed to see me here at 8. Well, you're a booking agent, well,
yeah.
He keeps my job alive, and I show up hungover, or he saw me last night and he's leaving at 10 and I'm there till 2. It doesn't, well, I'm not sending my guests with him. What if he shows up hungover?
Yeah.
So back to what I was talking about. I'm weaving like Trump now.
No, you're good. Perfect, man. It's what we do here in Security Halt.
There you go. But anyways, I really love that lifestyle out there. So after that marathon, that kind of stuck with me. And then fast forward to 2020 or 2021, after that hike and I met them, I went back out and I went back out in 2020, hung out with them, and then really got that, eating wild game meat, running, lifting, shooting my bow all the time, had a blast. And then I was like, well, I'm going to run Moab, and everybody at the bow rack kind of snickered and, not really a mean way, but like, do you realize what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And then 2021, I showed back up. I trained all year. So what I did was Monday, Tuesday, I lifted heavy, full body workout, but heavy. So it's just exhausting, one thing to another. And then I would run a short run at night. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I ran first thing in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, whatever I decided, on the beach barefoot to strengthen my ankles and try to, I'm from South Florida, so I was trying to compensate for the mountains.
Yeah.
Running the beach, is the closest thing I had. And then I would, I'd run again at night. And when I ran at night, instead of going to bed, I would eat dinner, everything. Instead of going to bed, I ran all night.
Damn.
I'd have a full day. I'd run in the morning, go to work, and then instead of go to bed, I ran till I ran 10 p.m. till about 4 a.m. when I was supposed to get up. And then I still did the 4 a.m. run. So it literally, instead of sleeping, I ran.
Damn.
Yeah. So I tried to kind of put myself through my own buds. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
Because that's what that ultra is. The only difference is if you do well in buds, you don't get to skip day 5 and 6. Like I'm doing really well. Can I take, you know what I mean? In an ultra marathon, if you run good, you get done and you're over. You could be done in 2 days, but so I looked at it like that. So my training was 5 days a week, just absolutely miserable because I wanted to put it like that. Didn't matter. Like my goal was 140 miles a week. If I hit it on Wednesday, we're still going to Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it was kind of so then what I did on Saturday and Sunday was I had off. So I slept in and then not really in. I'd be up, 6, 7 o'clock, stretch, a lot of fluid. And then those 2 days, I literally tried to get a marathon in a day.
Damn.
So that'd be a 50-mile weekend. Yeah. And I'd break it up sometimes, first thing in the morning, I'd run 10, I'd run another 5, and then I'd run 20 in the night until I finished. Yeah. But my goal was to run 50 miles Saturday and Sunday. And I did that pretty religiously. I had a couple times where I broke down and had to take some days off just because it just didn't happen. You got days where not because I was tired or sore, it was because, this foot, there's something wrong with it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Or this hip is literally not letting me pick it up today.
Yeah.
Let me go get a massage. Let's go get it looked at, that kind of stuff, like serious maintenance, not, I'm tired. No, none of that. Like even one day I walked 15 miles because my hip hurt. So I walked it. I did it. And then drove out to Oregon again, brought an RV this time. And that was going to be home base in Moab. And we'd take the truck through the race and got COVID really bad. Yeah, really bad. Like it hit me. It lasted about 4 days, but I had the fever the whole time, lost like 10 pounds just to throw up and stuff, And that was one of my worst runs ever. So I had it from like Wednesday to Saturday. I remember this. And on Sunday, I tried to run 12 miles up there. That was the worst run of my life because I never do roundabouts.
Yeah.
I always do down and backs. And I always get to the end and I say, fuck Uber. I'm never Ubering home. That's kind of like my joke. It doesn't matter how far it was. I get to the end. I tapped. I had one run back home where I'd ran a fire station and I hit their. They had a flag, so I'd kind of wiggle the end of their flag, and I'd say "fuck Uber" and I'd turn around and head back. Didn't matter how bad it was. If I had to walk, it was "fuck Uber." Let's go.
Yeah.
But anyways, I did that, and I got to a church, and I didn't drop the F-bomb there, but I said, "Forget Uber," and I put my hand on the sign and. I turned around and walked that 6 miles back, and it was like death. I had like fluid coming out, and I knew I was done. And I had a 7-day elk hunt 2 weeks later too, at 11,000 feet. And hunting, elk hunting's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, we walked 11 to 13 miles a day. You're carrying a pack. I'm not used to 11,000 feet. I'm in Oregon. We're at like 2,000 feet. I come in from Florida, and then it just wasn't smart to do Moab. I got out of there. I was already in Utah. I drove down to the Moab area and I was still shaking from it. Like, I was dehydrated. My eyes looked like death. I was like, I could kill myself. You know what I mean? And it's being my first one. I was like, nope. Just don't even sign up because the last thing I wanted to do is quit. And I had a million excuses, so didn't do it. Headed home, blew the $1,800 on the race. There's no refunds. There's no, and I agree with that. If you're going to sign up, So headed home, and that was when the Rocky mentality got in. That was we're doing this next year. It's kind of like when Jordan took his 18 months off.
Yeah.
Like that first year he didn't get the championship, and everybody kind of made fun of him. He was old. I was like. The only thing I did, I think somebody at work at my jewelry store, and they're my employees, so that really was bad. They were like, oh, okay, well, too bad. Okay. That was it. That was it. I was like, all right. And I didn't really like him. So I was like, okay, all right. Next year, same thing. Drove out in August. Trained out there the whole time, got to train with Cam, hung out at the bow rack, ate good food. I had done my same training, fast forward up to August. I did the same things I did because I thought that was pretty good. I only had in all that training, I only had a few days where I said I took off because of like a serious pain where I had to go get it looked at. So, I was doing it right. I added the ice tub. I added hot yoga. I added cold, regular yoga to open up my body. I started doing some jujitsu. To open up my body. So what I did was just didn't spar because ultra running and jujitsu on the joints, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I learned, I did the warm-ups, I did a lot of the wrestling warm-ups where you're walking on your hands and legs, doing the, the gorilla walks and all that. So I added that in there. Got an RV park right next to Mount Pisgah, which is the one Cam's always putting in his Instagram and stuff. That's
Mhm.
where he trains. I'm like right down at the bottom of it. Like we were not playing around. So what I did when I got there was at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd head over to Pisgah and I would walk with my two dogs. We all had weight vests and we'd walk up it. And halfway, I would grab a rock and I would throw it on my shoulder. And it was probably about 70 or 80 pounds. And I would carry it however far, it got that day. And then I would sprint down with the dogs. And then I would take each dog individually. I had crates in the back of my truck with fans, so they were good. And then we would sprint up and sprint down. And I would do 200 push-ups at the top. And we did that every morning. So the training went from about 3 or 4 in the morning till about 6. And then I went home, hydrated, slept, got up about, I don't know, maybe 9 a.m., did some work back home, kept in contact, went over the bow rack, shot my bow, just ate all day, just food. Then about 4 o'clock, I'd hit the gym. I got a 24-hour membership at, I forget what it's called, kind of like a Planet Fitness that they had in town. So I could go anytime because I really didn't know my workout schedule. And if I need to rest more, I always wanted to get the upper body workout in. So I got the 24-hour gym. So if I slept till, 10 o'clock at night, I'd hit the gym. And some of those where I slept in, I went to the gym. It was kind of funny at like 2 a.m. I look at my clock and I go, ooh, 3 a.m. mountain, let's go. I mean, the arms are running like this. The rock didn't happen on those days. I got it like a baby and I would just drop it. It was just brutal. But I had an elk hunt that year. So I did the training in August. I had the elk hunt in September. And then Moab was the first week of October. So that was a brutal 3 months. That was a hell of a summer. And I haven't really, it's kind of cool to tell it on this podcast, but for some reason when I ran Moab, I didn't really want to talk about the negatives or the funny things. Like I just told people how I got through it, how I ran it. It was good and it was good for me. But I've never really told anybody until just recently that I dislocated a rib 7 days before Moab.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I did what David Goggins did, which is not smart, and I think he said it was not smart. He trained all the way up to it, and so did I. I've got 2 working dogs in an RV that's 19 feet. You're not hanging out all day. This is dad. That's one of them's a wolf shepherd, and the other one's a Malinois shepherd. They don't sleep. That's. I mean, you could blink your eyes and they'd be like, oh, we're going running 10 miles. Okay, let's go. You can't even stand up. And they're like, roundabouts. So I was like, I got to get these guys out. So, and then a walk doesn't work. This isn't a golden retriever. We don't go walking, walking's 30 miles.
Yeah.
So we got up and I was in beautiful Moab. I hunted in the Ashley National Forest, Uintas. So that was northern Utah, the Green River area. So then I shot down in Moab, was down in South Utah. So I got down there in those red rocks and those parks. I mean, dogs can just go. So it was perfect for that. So I decided I was going to run with them every day. And we got up to those, it was day 7, pre-Moab. And we got up, those giant red rocks that are like perfectly round. They look like just big eggs.
Yeah.
Well, I was going up to the top of one. And I would stick a canned coffee in my pocket, and I'd run up there and have a coffee as the sun came up. Euphoric thing to run up a mountain as the sun's coming up in the desert, and watch the sun come up over those. I mean, just made my day. A family member could have died that day, and a little bit of me would have been okay. Just in that, you know what I mean? Just in that
beautiful.
moment.
It's beautiful country.
Just a moment, yeah. So I get up there, and one of the days, day 7, I'm on the edge of the rock, sitting on it. And I just start to slide. I'm on my knees. You got your feet.
Yeah.
You're just kind of sitting back, and I'm watching. My body just goes.
Oh.
And there's no stopping you. There's nothing to grab. There's nothing, So 45 feet, I hit the ground. And feet first. So my knees just get jacked up into my chest. I got lucky and did a roll. I did get very lucky. So no real damage there. But I got I hit like this. And I was able to roll, and I kind of came to, and I didn't really hurt then. I was like, oh, okay, let's not do that anymore. Well, I look up and here comes the 90-pound shepherd. And he just, he's a working dog. He'll do whatever you do. He's just in full flight. All I see, it's kind of funny. All I see is ball sack. It's coming. It's coming. I mean, he's just coming like one of those flying squirrels. I didn't see him jump, but I happened to look when he did jump, and he's just going like that. And, his, dog skinny legs, I had to catch him.
Yeah.
So I spin around on my butt, and I just sat back in like a cradle position, and he hit my chest so hard that the upper, it was this side, right side. I didn't know this at the time, but the upper one slid into my lung. He hit me here, and he must have, his foot. He hit me, his chest hit my shoulder, which was kind of good because that's a very strong part of his body, not his back end. He hit me here, and it must have pushed down, which pushed the rib in. And I woke up, we went home, I was a little beat up, sat in the hot tub. I was in a KOA campground. I was good, but that made me realize, all right, I'll let them just free run and I'll walk. I have an RV where the front of it, the bed lays down, so you can't roll off the side. You have to get off like this. So I'm sleeping, and I woke up real peacefully. You know how sometimes you just kind of open your eyes?
Yeah.
And I woke up, and my arm's perfectly like this, like it's in a cast. So I must have moved it like that in the morning, and the other one straight down. Bless you.
Thank you.
And I'm laying perfectly straight with this arm like this. So I kind of look down at my arm, and I'm like, it's like somebody put in a cast overnight. And I'm like, what? It doesn't hurt yet. So I'm like, what is this? So I sit up, and it feels like somebody just stuck me with a knife right there. Like they just went under my arm. And that's like a kill zone. Like you can take somebody out there.
Yeah.
And it just slid in, and I just went, and I could not breathe. I thought I was having a heart attack at first. My body started to shake. I was going, and then I couldn't let it out. So my lungs were getting big, but I couldn't breathe out. I could bring it in, and it was pressing against it, and it wouldn't let me let the air out. So then I'm freaking out. So then finally I just dropped back to where I was, because instantly, kind of instinct, like I wasn't hurting there. Let me lay back down. And the bed must have taken weight off the rib. It moved somehow, I don't know, but it took pressure off the lung, and I was able to breathe. So I'm laying there, and I reach over and grab my cell phone, and I was like, 15 minutes has gone by. I'm just trying to relax. And the dogs they're just going nuts, and I'm cussing and shut up, and, they're getting me anxiety. And one of them's in the bed just doing donuts, and I was like, well, it's been 15 minutes. I would have had the longest heart attack known to man. So it's not a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was the fall. It was yesterday, because it hurt. Shoulder hurt, chest hurt from him hitting me. And I was like, all right, so if I call the hospital, Moab's over. Because if you have a medical report, they check and stuff. I'm sure they do, because you got to go through a medical the night before the thing. So I'm sure they look people up, or they get they'll get a notification, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That mentally, that scared me. So no hospital. And I was like, I was almost broke. I was like, no ambulance. No, you know how it goes. I can do this kind of thing, So I was like, no hospital. And I was like, well, let me call a massage therapist. I mean, out in Moab, they're dealing with those dirt bikers, mountain climbers. They've seen military. They've seen every injury in the book. And I got lucky. I was just going down Google, and I got a guy. I do not remember his name. I'd love to name drop him. But he was able to see me for about 45 minutes in between sessions. Now, the car ride over there was one of the most brutal things. I had luckily I had a smaller truck. I had a Colorado, so it wasn't bad to get in, but just driving and arms out, and, even the shifter to go to reverse and park, having, I was doing this. I was shifting, over here. And I got to him, and he had me sit on the edge of the bed, and he had me put my arm. He already knew what was up. He had me put my arm back in that position. And he said, breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring your arm up, kind of like a real deep stretch. And then he'd say, breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring your arm up. And he got to where we worked on it for that 45 minutes, and he got my arm back over my head. And he said, I have a ton of clients. There was a dirt bike, magazine. They were doing a race. I just can't, I was like, I got it. And he said, call this lady. Well, she worked for a really nice resort, but I got lucky, and she had her own place as well. So I met up with her, and she was downtown Moab, and she worked on me for 90 minutes, 6 days in a row. I went in the morning. I don't really have a schedule. I went in whenever she had an opening and she wasn't at the resort doing her thing. And we did it for 90 minutes. And then she sent me to a chiropractor twice just to move things around after she softened it up. And it was called like Blue Ridge, or it's right across the street. And we did that religiously for every day for 90 minutes, twice a day. So 180 minutes of massage. And I ran Moab.
Damn.
And then, so I had no pacers. We put the map on my phone the morning of the shotgun start because I was worried about the injury. I didn't do anything. I had no socks. I pulled into the first rest area. My mother's my crew. That's it. So I pull in the first rest area. I'm dying. It just hurts. It's only 9 miles. And I go to, no, I'm sorry, it was 17 miles. The first check-in was one of theirs. So I had no crew there. I was okay there. The 17-mile one was the brutal one. I got to them. Well, she got me a chair and it had broken.
Oh.
So when I sat on it, it just collapsed. So I'm ready to kill Mom. I'm like, what are we doing here? She didn't have any of my food. It's like at the truck. We got no socks. That was my fault. I didn't pack the socks. So she's got like water and Gatorade. So she goes and stands in line and gets me food from the actual rest area instead of my stuff. And then I just kind of walk out of there in disgust. I'm like, what am I doing here? And I'm just tons of pain. So I trek on, and from there on out, it was all mental. I get to the next one. Forget the finish line. It doesn't exist. Get to the next one. Each one was the finish line. Mom went back into town and got a very nice chair. She got one of those beach chairs that reclines vertically with the cup holders, and it has a little pillow. And, so we dialed that in. That was the last thing I said to her. So I checked into the rest area. And then when I checked out, I kind of yelled, go get a chair. You don't see me for 60 miles. She got a chair. And I have pictures of me with, I have blisters bigger than golf balls on my ankles. They're huge. And that was because of the no socks.
Yep.
That sand out there, it floats in the air.
Yeah.
So there was no way to prevent it in shoes. I didn't have gaiters, the things that go over your ankles. I had nothing. I had one other pair of shoes. So the first time I got in water, shoes were done.
Yeah.
So we got in water in the beginning. So I had one pair of shoes with no socks. It was very interesting. And where it really got mental, I got to a rest stop, and one of the things I did was rest way too much. So the whole race, I only slept 3 hours. I could have gone a lot less, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I slept 1 hour one time, which was phenomenal. And another time I slept 2 hours, and that was awful. It was like a deep sleep, And I got up just groggy, and it was like I gave myself some too much ibuprofen or something. Yeah. I was toast. But one of the big mental things that really pushed me, there was a rest area where they put out a bunch of water and there was nobody there. You just kind of help yourself with water. And it was out of water when I got there.
Sure.
Yeah. So me and another girl went 22 miles on no water. She ended up dropping out at the end. When we got to that one, she dropped out. She did have ankle problems, so it might not have been all the water. I saw her ankle. It was brutal. She had twisted it. Yeah, so we teamed up and we walked together. So she did 22 miles, no water, in a bad ankle. I did 22 miles, just,
That's guts. That's fucking guts, man.
It was brutal. But when I got to that rest area where she quit, there was another girl there that was going to get medevaced out. And so say this is the pad of your foot. She got blisters like a square all the way around. Well, when they popped, it fell open.
Whew.
Yeah, it was the most brutal injury to feet that they had ever seen. And to get out the next day, they could have emergency people come get her the next day if she walked 15 miles to the next stop, or she had to be at that one for like 3 days. So it was brutal either way. And my back was turned to the medical tent. I was getting ready to go, and I just kind of did one of these, and I was like, I'll go with you. Let's go. If you want to do it, because time didn't mean anything. It was all about finishing then, and I was doing pretty good. So we walked that 15 miles, and she got to that next one. But that really, I was like, if she can do that, and when she got there and she quit, she's like, I'll see you at the finish line. I was like, there's no quit now,
Yeah.
If somebody, and she did, so she skipped her medical. She went to the hospital, but she was standing at the end of the race, and her and her husband both gave me a hug. So if that wasn't motivation, I don't know what was. And I remember being 18 miles to the end, and a guy was taping my. It was the last rest stop, and he was taping my feet up, and we were talking about feet, and he was kind of making fun of the giant blisters because it's 18 miles. I'm doing it now. And he stops taping in the halfway, and I was like, what's up? And he looks at his clock, and he goes, if you don't leave right now, you ain't going to make it. I ran between a 10-minute and an 8.5-minute mile all the way there.
Damn.
Took off. No water. I had a little bit. I didn't even fill up. I probably had a half of one of those 2 liters. So I had a liter of water. I poured some of that Jocko hydration in it, that Jocko fuel hydration, and no food, and took off. And my last mile was 8:37. And I finished Moab. I finished at, I think you get 114 hours. I finished at 96 hours.
Fuck yeah.
And I went in through the finish line. I did 5 clapping push-ups. Yeah. And I finished.
Dude.
And the mental side of it was, I really like the mental. I'm gonna do it again in 2026. I'm gonna sign up again. The mental's over for me. I'm going in to win it. I'm gonna try to win it. The mental. If I got through what I did, coming in prepared and not injured, it's not going to be easy, but I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. So what was huge was, it was kind of funny and huge. I was one of the last people to hang out that night too. Like, I was literally hanging out, having a good time. I was by the fire. I was walking around talking with people. I drank like 6 beers. I ate 2 full-size pizzas. People are like, didn't you run it? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I mean, so I know I have some mental resilience. I know I have a lot. And it was hilarious. So my mother, as a present, got me an RV park to rest at for like 2 days after the race, so I could chill out, because I still had to drive home and go back to work.
Yeah.
Well, she booked it on day 2 or day 3 and day 4 of the Moab. So when I got done, I had nowhere to stay. So I got to sleep that night because I was already in the RV park. But so I got done at it was probably 9, and I think it all ended at like 11. That was the end of it, or later.
Yeah.
It was before midnight. I know that, maybe 11:30. So at 8 a.m., I had to pack up and leave. They had somebody fill my spot at the RV park.
Damn.
So here I am in the RV park the next morning, trying to crank up the levels on the thing. Feet are bloody. I'm shaking because that's when the adrenaline's gone. Yeah, I'm like, kind of. So this ex-military, ex-cop that had been retired saw me next door. Doesn't even say anything. Walks over, takes the crank out of my hands, says, "Go sit down. I'll drop your RV. Give me your keys." And he hooked my truck up and helped me in the truck. And I knew he was military and a cop because we got to talking and stuff. And his wife made me a coffee. And they were just on vacation with their family.
Yeah.
They knew I had just run Moab.
Dude, this story is just filled with so many like beautiful moments of like understanding common humanity. Not only what you showed that other competitor, like those are things that we often forget, that it's not rooted just in the fucking military. This
No.
is part of being a
And
good human being.
I'm
Yeah,
not military.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yet in those moments when we talk about never leave a fallen comrade, never leave somebody behind, that's if you're a good human being, those principles still apply to you. What's that?
Yep.
You got to walk 15 miles? We'll do it together. I'll be right there
Yeah.
with you. Like that's
I have a good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, it's just it's beautiful to see that, and that allows us to understand that, like, dude, like you can find that brotherhood, you can find that connection in the outside world. Like you can
100%.
find this out there,
Yeah.
which a lot of our veterans, a lot of our people leaving the military, they failed to see. And I think it's part of that really stupid disgruntled vet where like only a veteran knows what it's like. It's like, no, go sign up for a race with Jason and feel that brotherhood, feel that community that's still right there.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's you have to be willing to go outside of your lived experience and be willing to see that there are people out there that are willing to go do something hard with you, willing to suck, and they'll be right there with you, man. Like that, this is
Absolutely. Yeah.
beautiful, dude.
Well, let's go suck on March 15th
Let's
together.
do it, man.
Yeah, I'm in. Before we keep going, email me or text me the link. I'll sign up. I think that'd be a blast. I'm on
dude,
my own schedule.
I'm gonna sign you up for our team, so don't even worry about the entrance fee.
Okay, yeah.
So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't even worry about it.
I got my running clothes here, and I'm good to go.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my dogs. So I'll figure that out, but we'll get it done. I think the vet that I have here would take them in too.
Yeah, I know a good vet in Fort Walton Beach that they have boarding, so I can send you a text.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll do that. I just need a 24-hour basically.
Yeah.
But going back to that, never leaving a comrade behind and a fallen behind. I have a good quick story for that. So I ran in Colorado Springs. I ran one of those 50 for the fallen with Chad. I did one of those. He just randomly hit me up one day on Instagram. We weren't even following each other, and he's like, his message just said, "Are you going to run 50 miles?" And I'm like, first I almost said, "Bitch, I ran 240. Where are you at?" Well, that was my first initiation. I was like, let me look at his profile. Let me see why somebody just randomly. And then I went to he had texted me from the 50 thing. And then I started to read about it. I was like, he's not talking shit. He wants me to come run.
Yeah.
So I did. I signed up. Pretty brutal. So I flew in, 2 hours in the hotel, and I had to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a good time, but we were going, I don't remember how far, and I met a ton of guys, heard most of the incredible stories because you're running 50 miles together and you're not a veteran and you're with a bunch of veterans. Those guys open up.
Yeah.
Especially if you're grinding,
Yeah.
And it was a very surreal moment. So I ran into the bushes just to take a quick piss one time, and I run out. And there's a guy just standing there, and I was like, we're on the base there. We're on their property.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought was, oh shit, I'm not allowed to do that. I was like, oh, and it was a ranger, and he's an active ranger.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. Probably should leave it off here anyways because of his job. But I go, what's up? And he goes, oh, we don't leave anybody back. And I was like, oh, all right. Yeah. Because they've gone on. You don't stop for just, you know what I mean? So he's just standing there. He's looking up at the clouds, just hanging out. I was like, what's up, man? He's like, oh, we don't leave anybody. And he takes off, starts jogging.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's go. And I, immediately followed right behind him. He goes, they're just up ahead. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was the only words we had.
Dude, it's
I mean,
Yeah.
He's just standing there. He's like, we don't leave anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And that's all I said. I was like, let's go. And we ran to the front of the pack. We ran by everybody. They're like, you could hear everybody going, assholes. Oh, look at you. So then the rest of the time, there was a couple Rangers up there. Mostly it's a fast walk, run, whatever you feel like doing. But, we kicked it off and then we sprinted the last mile. So that was pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We're definitely not at your ultra marathon level yet, but that's part of our initiative for the next few years going forward, trying to do 2 really challenging, difficult events twice a year, like trying to have that ability to like understand and we're trying to bridge this gap that we have within our veteran community and the understanding of what we need to be mentally resilient. And like we're often told that we need to take a soft kitty glove approach. And the reality is like, look, you're not going to get through life applying kid gloves to every situation. You have to go do hard things. Hard things give you the ability to build resilience. I don't expect anybody to go out there, and I'm certainly not expecting myself to run nonstop 40 fucking miles.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a minute, but I am gonna challenge myself, and I am challenging all of us to go do something hard twice a year, something incredibly hard twice a year. It'll give you something to look back on and look forward to. And that's what this initiative is. Unfortunately, my good friend Tim won't be able to attend. He's contracting. But Kyle, myself, and our newest team member will be out there. And now we're going to be bringing Jason along. So after this one, we'll be looking forward to the next one. I don't know what the next challenge is going to be, but I want it to be something in the mountains.
Okay.
I want it to be something in the mountains for the end of the year. That way we're constantly going from extremes. So we're at sea level.
You guys should look up one of those 50 for the fallen.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to add a 50 for the fallen in the mix in between. Okay. But I need to get Chad to come bring one stateside. I think he's doing one in Colorado soon that we might be able to jump on. But yeah,
I think he does his Colorado, and I don't remember when I did it, but it wasn't cold out. Yeah, it was probably summer, maybe that transition, maybe August. It wasn't, it wasn't freezing cold. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to drag my buddy to do the boulder as well, because I'm a Colorado boy. Ended up I grew up part of my life in Colorado, and I want to go back because it's always like been bugging me. It's like you grew up, you always heard about the boulder, and you never did it when you were young. Like, well, I'm still youngish. We need to knock that one out of the park, even if it's crawling and dragging myself across the finish line.
There you go. Another good one might be for you in the future for you and your guys and gals. I haven't done a lot of research on it. I think they do a 50 and a 100. Yeah. But I'm really interested in the rim to rim. That's the
Yep.
I keep seeing that. They advertise that a lot, and I think that would be incredible.
That'd be badass.
Just being down in there with sunrise and stuff. Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a 50 and a 100. So there's like one that's rim to rim, and I think that's the 50.
Yep.
And then a rim to rim to rim is the 100, I believe. Yep. I don't know much about it, but I know rim to rim exists.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I'm excited to have you join us on this run. Be advised, it will be a very, casual pace, but our aim is to finish and to go as long as keep the team together, sort of like what Chad does, and just be able to enjoy being miserable. So, dude, we're stoked to have you on this, man. It's gonna be fucking badass. We didn't even get to jump into fishing, but that's just even more just more incentive to do a part 2, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. So
yeah, dude, let's do one. Maybe we can try to do one in person. Let me see if I can work it out, and I'll bring my stuff down. Yeah. Because I'm only 3 hours away. I'm up in Alabama right now, but maybe we do one right after the run and recap it, and then we can dive into your fishing extravaganza. So
let's do
it, dude. Thank you so much for being here, Jason. If people want to follow you, where can they go?
Jason L Coffrin on Instagram. That's the main one. Jason L Coffrin on YouTube. I'm just getting that going because I'm getting back into the fishing. And then Mr. Trigger Sport Fishing on Instagram is what I have, and I'm coming out with clothing and stuff. I got one right now.
I love that.
Not entitled. Yeah. When I get them in, what I did was the people up at the Bow Rack up in Oregon, they have a screen print place that they use.
Nice.
So I use them to help a small business. And I grabbed one out for me, and then I shipped the rest so they wouldn't be on the airplane. So when they come in, I'll for sure mail one to you.
Heck yeah. And dude, let me get you, what's your t-shirt size? That way I can bring one down for you.
I'm probably a short sleeve. I'm probably a large, long sleeve. I'm probably an XL because I got long arms.
Perfect. Dude, thank you so much for being here, brother. And to all y'all tuning in, go ahead and pause, go to episode description, click on those links, give Jason a follow. And before I let you go, head on over to the comment section and the rating section and give us a 5-star review. Drop a couple words in there. I don't know, put Denny's cool or this show's awesome. Whatever you do, help us out. Give me 5 seconds and leave us a review and help us beat the algorithm. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time. Till then, take care. Yeah.